Hello, everyone. This is Coffee with Chief, and I have another awesome interview today. Welcome, everyone, to Guro Laurie. Hello, Guro Laurie.
Hello, everybody. I got my coffee ready to go.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I'm excited about this.
Mm.
I've known Guro Laurie for quite a bit now on Facebook. I've never actually met her in person, but when she lived in Michigan, I had hoped that we would connect and do some stuff. But I'll let her tell you everything all about her, where she's at and what she does. And so, Guru, this is your cue where you kind of have the floor and
Take
let us know who
over.
you are and what do you do.
All right. Well, I started training Pencak Silat Kali in 1997 in good old King Dragon Martial Arts School with Jeff Davison. I met
Awesome.
a ton of guys there who I'm still friends with: Curran Green, Fred Bigliardi, Dean Hayden. I mean, these are guys that are still out there and teaching and actively training. Learned a ton from that school. I was only 17 when I started, so
Wow.
I had a chance to really absorb. When you're young, you just kind of sponge and absorb. But
Sure.
as you get older, you travel. So I went to school, got married, moved to California. When we were there, I was training with Ramon Rubia for a short time in San Miguel Eskrima. He's
Perfect.
he's awesome. He can move. So was there for 3 years. Ended up moving back to Michigan. Just kind of training on my own, and then with my buddies. The King Dragon School kind of had gone its way at that point. So just training with Fred, training with Dean. There's another. I met Taki Kabir through a mutual friend of ours, Ken LaFleur, who also trained at King Dragon.
Uh-huh.
And Taki and I have a great, he's my brother, man. We had a
Uh-huh.
lot of fun. Right around 2017, I had gotten us involved in production. So movie production. I had introduced myself to this group called Coattail Collective from Detroit, who are wonderful, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And they were choreographing fight scenes for a music video. So I offered our help. So it was myself and Taki and Kurt that were involved. So we choreographed like a bunch of fight scenes for these guys, and we were filling in for their actors, and we were teaching their actors, spending a lot of our time. And then eventually the project fell through. So it
Uh-huh.
didn't work out. So we kind of sat there like, man, we put in all this work and we didn't get anything from it.
Mm-hmm. Taki, I met back in 2017.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I had a event in Ann Arbor, and it was Collie in the Park with Chief.
Hmm.
And so I had some friends there. They put the word out, and Taki showed up and trained with us, and he was awesome. The guy is phenomenal. He's a wonderful
Yes.
guy. I really got along with him in some of the stuff he was talking about as far as his academy and so forth. So,
Yeah.
and what he was trying to do. Great guy, that guy, and I see some of his work online. I follow him on Facebook, Instagram. He's
Yeah.
phenomenal martial artist, like most of the people that we know. They're all
Right.
phenomenal.
Right. And good
So
and great people to boot. So
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Now going back to you a little bit. Now I
Yeah.
call you guru, right? Right.
Yes.
So you're a guru in.
Pencak Silat. I'm a Guro Baharu in Pencak Silat. I was promoted in 2001 by Pendaker Sanders. So I don't know if you know
Wow,
Eric Greenberg, but him and I got promoted right at the same time. It was awesome.
that's
So
awesome. Wow.
mhm.
So I mean that's so you've been a pretty much a lifelong martial artist.
I've been doing martial arts longer than I haven't been at this point. So that's great.
Wow. Amazing. But you still look like you're 19.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm gonna be 40 in March, so imagine
Wow. You're
that.
still a young puppy compared to me.
Still have lots of learning to do too. So you never
Absolutely.
stop learning,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Now I know you use martial arts not just for yourself, but to for the community. And what I mean about that, and you had
Yeah.
mentioned to me before how martial arts have opened up doors for you to the community, to the business,
Yeah.
to industry. Tell me how did you get into that? I mean, how do you use martial arts to open up and get into the community?
I just I love to talk martial arts. So I mean, and it's kind of strange because when you first meet me, like if I'm in my work attire, I work at a company where we lease copy machines. So I'm wearing, you know, like a business attire, and I have glasses, and I look, you know, very professional. And then like my coworkers, when they start to find out what I do with my free time, so they're like, wait, you do martial arts? I'm like, yeah, not just martial arts, like sticks and knives and gun disarms and flexible weapons, and I shoot guns, and they're like, okay. So I mean, but this is who I am. So I mean, it just comes out. So that's kind of actually how we found the production company. It was one of my coworkers at the time that knew the production company. I was just talking to her about what I do, and then she put us together, where she was like, hey, they're looking for extras. But then when we got in contact with the production company, we were like, we can choreograph for you. So after that music video kind of fell apart, Taki and I kind of sat down and we were like, why don't we just do our own thing? Because I mean, like here we were spending all this time and training these people, but we could do the same thing too. So I wrote us like a small, it was meant to be like a demo. And it's what happened was catfishing. So it was Taki and myself and Fred Bigliardi. I wrote it, but then the two of them basically choreographed it for the three of us to participate in, which was really nice because we know each other's style so well because we've known each other so long. So we knew what we could bring to the table. It's not like where you could train an actor and they've had no martial arts experience at all. You know, we have to start from scratch. So we knew we wanted to do weapons. We knew we wanted to do like a gun disarm. We knew we wanted a fight with me and Taki and then a fight with Fred. So it just kind of evolved from there. And that, oh my gosh, that was so much time. If you watch the video, it's like 6.5 minutes long. It took us like a whole year to get there. From conception to writing to choreography to rehearsals to dress rehearsals to, I mean, we did one, I think we did 2 shoots, but then there was like issues with the weather because we were outside, so we couldn't shoot in the rain. You know, just time that it takes to set a scene. And it's like, I had no idea about any of these things, like lighting. The crew came in, they had to light a scene. So it was nighttime we were filming, they had to bring in all these extra lights and this not positioned right. And the director, he's like, I'm not happy with that. You need to switch that. So then we had to be patient and wait, you know, while they set the scene. But this is all normal stuff with production. And then they have to edit. Then we had to do some reshoots because Taki forgot that he was wearing a jacket in one scene. you know, it's what happens.
Yeah.
You shoot it and then you take your jacket off and then you're actually shooting the scene before that and you forget to put your jacket on, right?
Right. So no, man, that sounds like a lot of work, and you do all this and amazing. I've seen that clip, and not right now, but later on, I'd like to kind of watch that with you, and you can give us a play-by-play. But I want to share something, and I think this kind of I was watching a lot of videos of you and, you know, of course, perusing Facebook and YouTube, all about you, because that's what I do. You know, whoever I'm going to interview, I'm going to kind of look at their social media and all that stuff. I think this one clip, all right, and then you can agree or disagree with me after the fact, kind of shows you, it's 34 seconds. It's like you, and I think from what I know of you, this is you, and I'm just gonna play it here, and then you are going to be. I think this is the one, right? Right. So, can you see it?
It's not there yet. Oh, but I see your. Okay, go ahead. It's gonna play.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
There's Taki doing that, right?
Oh my goodness, poor Taki.
And you know, I was watching that and I was like, that is so her. It's so playful, so you know, I saw it. I'm like, I gotta show her that. I gotta show her that, you know.
Oh, we
So
had
those
shot
were the
like,
ones I found. Yeah. So
and then the one where I'm taking like all the knives out of my pockets, that one was really funny too.
oh,
So I was trying to get. Oh,
speaking
did
of,
you have that one?
oh, of course. Why wouldn't you think I have that? I mean, I try
Oh
to
my
do my
goodness.
homework. I try to do my homework as best as I can, right? So
Right. Oh yeah, that's it.
Some weapons are easy to spot. Others are hard to see. So even if you think by getting in close that you'll be able to take an opponent down, you have to consider all the options of things that are going on.
what?
You
One
have
of my
more knives
favorites.
than that too. Here's the thing. Watch how many knives come out. I have more than that.
They could be hiding all sorts of things all over the place.
That's, I mean,
You think you can find them all?
like a clown car.
This is wonderful.
Yes.
I mean, this is just.
And just when you think
I knew I liked
possibly
you
anyone
as soon as I
weapons,
saw this clip.
guess what? You're wrong.
Like, even when you think you found them all.
We're going to take the fear away from training with knives.
And your attitude when you're speaking here is just absolutely wonderful.
Well, I teach martial arts out of a school in Prosper, Texas, of course, and it's a jujitsu school. Jujitsu and MMA are huge in this area. I haven't really found too many people that do weapons or schools that do weapons really at all. There's some places in Dallas. I think there's a Krav Maga school there. There was someone, and I had asked you, I think at one point, there was someone that did Pikiti Tersha in, where is he? He's somewhere in this area, but he wasn't affiliated with you guys. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's out of his garage. So that's when I started, you know, I asked if we could train virtually.
Yeah.
With Combat Academy. So, so, I mean, there's really nobody around here. So I have a small weapons class. And like I said, everybody does jujitsu here. And I was trying to explain, like, if you're going to come and try to tackle me, you don't know how many weapons I have on my person.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
if you think you know, you don't know.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Don't assume that what you see is everything you're going to get, because
right.
And that's some of the things that I kind of teach at the academy is, you know, you got to be prepared for most things. You know, you can never be prepared for everything, but most things. And you should have that level of awareness so you can anticipate, you know, but yeah, no, weapons is a equalizer, you know. You
Yes.
have a small guy pulls out a knife, all of a sudden he's in an advantage, you know. So, you know,
Right.
Weapon training, I think, enhances your hands and feet, you know, but that's awesome. I mean,
sensitivity, deception,
absolutely.
all of that stuff. I'm with you. That's the whole reason why I started. You know, when I was 17, getting bullied at school, I needed to protect myself. And I had looked at other arts, and I still remember going to King Dragon and meeting Jeff Davison for the first time and having him demonstrate not only the weapons, but the animal styles. That was all I needed to see. The fluidity, the beauty, the deception, but yet so destructive. And that's what got me. It's just,
absolutely.
And it's been that way ever since, you know?
Yeah, no, I tell you, I mean,
been that way.
I don't know if you saw the video where I kind of gave a little bit of my background, but as a young boy, I was bullied a lot. You know, I was really super skinny and small, and in Hawaii, you know, you're easily picked on if you're not that big, you know, because all the Hawaiians and Samoans, they're really big guys, you know. So, but I was bullied a lot every day, walking to school and walking back to school. So I learned how to be fast, running.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the martial arts, and just like you, kind of introduced me to um, uh, obviously being aware of my surroundings, seeing what my abilities are, but more importantly, learning how to deal with people, uh,
Yes.
talking about learning how to also, and I think you said this to me before, how to develop your character,
Mm-hmm.
so martial
Learning how
arts
to
is,
learn.
yes.
That's the biggest takeaway for me from when I was young, is that I learned how I learned, and I learned that in order to get better at anything, you have to challenge yourself, and you have to step outside your comfort zone. That's how it is, especially with fighting. And I get asked to do a lot of women's self-defense seminars, being that I'm a woman instructor.
Uh-huh.
I get a lot of women that come into this group, but it's so hard because I get maybe 4 hours max to impress something on these women. And the thing that I always try to impress on them, just because you came to one self-defense seminar does not mean you know how to protect yourself. You need practice, and you need to drill the technique. You can't practice it for 20 minutes and be an expert. You got to join martial arts. If that's something that you are concerned about, you got to take yourself out of your safety box, put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. I know you're smiling because you agree with me. And you got to practice. You got to
Completely
be
agree with
psychologically
you.
ready too. Because if you can't deal with the stress of it, you're going to freeze. You're going to panic. Everything that you think you know goes out the window.
Wow. Part of this theme that I'm doing with these interviews is the warrior journey. And as I listen to you, I mean, you're the perfect example of a warrior. You're talking physicality, you're talking attitude, character, mindset. I mean, those are some of the questions that I've asked, the other guys I've interviewed before, so, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In your warrior journey, what is the single attribute that drives you?
Mm. I don't know if there's a single most attribute. I mean, I think most of it is my personal journey and how I develop myself. That's what kind of pushes me. It's internal too. It's what keeps me calm. It's what resets my psyche. A lot of this pandemic, we're sheltering in place. I work from home. My husband works from home. My daughter does virtual school. We're all here all the time. And it's like, you don't get a break from it. And when I get to train, it reminds me who I am. It's spiritual to me. So I think that that's the way I kind of connect with myself and grow and meet new people and experience new things. So martial arts to me is the way of life. It's the path I walk.
Uh-huh.
It's what motivates me. It's what, it's what gets me up, and I want to spar. Like, people are amazed that there's a woman out there that wants to spar. That's the only way I know what I'm good at and what I need to practice. And I need to spar people that are going to kick my butt.
I told you when we first met and you got into my messenger group that I told you, I can't wait to kick your ass.
And I can't wait too. I want to see what I can do to try and not get hit.
Yeah.
And if I touch once, I've done my job. I've accomplished something.
Absolutely. So here's a terminology that I use, just basically, in essence, describe what you just told me. All right.
Yes.
This is me. I do martial arts because it sets my soul on fire. So, for us in our journey, we feel it, not in our hands and in our bones, but it's deeper than that. It's something that's so good and so motivating that we crave it. you know,
Yes.
and we want to do it all the time, you know.
Yes.
It's like the perfect hobby that we were made for, you know. So
Mhm.
and that's why I call you, you know, one of the warriors, because you know I see it in you. You the way you choreograph your scenes, the way you talk, your words that you choose, and the journey you're going with this wonderful project that you're doing called
Oh,
Path of the Pale Rider. You
yes.
know,
But
I'm
this is
really
all progression of where I started in 1997, where I started learning martial arts, and my passion for movies and fighting, and all of it kind of ties together. So it's like after Catfishing, I wrote a web series for the Coattail Collective called The Agency. And I had a bunch of people cast, and we were choreographing fight scenes, and Dean Hayden was involved, and he's awesome, by the way. If I really wish that we could release that. The pilot needed reshoots and it needed a lot of work. So I can't really release it because you won't be able to, I mean, it needs work. It's like, you don't release a half-drawn picture, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the scenes that Dean choreographed were amazing. And like John Glover was acting with me, and he was such a good sport, letting me jump up and bash him into tables and strip guns away and smack him with him. And I mean, I was having so much fun. We shot the pilot, like I said, but right around that time when they were editing and they needed reshoots, my family relocated to Texas.
Right.
So it just got unreasonable with everybody in Michigan. And then of course the star of the show was now in Texas. It would be very expensive to continue. So that one kind of just ended. But I got my taste for writing when I was doing that. So that's kind of what led to Path of the Pale Rider. I started writing that maybe beginning of 2019. And I was inspired by, this is kind of fun. You know, you watch Facebook and you see those ads for those master classes. We're like, masterclass.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson teaches you acting, you know, or like wine tasting. So I was David Finch. David Finch. Mm-hmm. So writer director, and he had done like Dune. He's done a handful of things, and he was talking about his creative process where he writes on 3x5 cards. And if you can write enough about 200 3x5 cards, that's about the length of a full-length movie.
Wow.
So I got out 3x5 cards and I just started writing Path of the Pale Rider. I just had this idea of what would happen if people didn't die. So it's like the concept is death stops working naturally. Yes, there's my art. So
there it is right there.
Yeah.
Wow. So
I haven't given any clues about what that picture means. I'll go into more detail. So in this world, you could die, but you're still animated. Okay. So you go through the death, you know, like you decay, but you're still here talking and interacting. It's really, I mean, to me, that's kind of horrific. You could die and then have to get up and go to work on Monday. You know what I mean? You still have to sit in traffic. Yeah. You still, there's no release. There's no end. But as you're decomposing, the brain is decomposing. So people start to like have Alzheimer's, they get violent, they don't care, you know, they forget things. So it's a really horrific process to have to be in your body while you're decaying, you know?
I'm really looking forward to this. You know, I belong to that Facebook group. I'm somewhat of a comic book / you know, cartoon nerd like I am, you know.
Me too.
Back in the day, you know, I used to collect and watch all those anime. I was stationed in Japan, and you know, I see it.
Some my books, and my husband and I both read comic books, so we have some over there, we got some over here. You know, we have a ton of electronics, so you know, there's websites out there and Cartoon Web and Image Comics, and so we've read all the Walking Deads, like Wasteland, Walking Dead, Why the Last Man Standing, Invincible and Fable are the ones we have out. Just
So
fabulous. We love Robert Kirkman's work.
Yeah, you have
Lazarus Saga. I could keep going forever.
you have many different places where you have information about, you know, your
Path of the Pale
current
Rider
project. You know, here's your Instagram page.
Yeah.
You know, for Path of the Pale Rider. You got some pictures and stuff in there, mini videos. There's a picture of you there doing that little clip that you did.
Yeah,
right?
I'll talk about that and like
okay, all right.
The idea for this whole comic book, because it's not just going to be a comic book.
Wonderful.
More than
wonderful. That. And you know that really intrigues me about, you know, it's so much more than your, you know, just a comic book, you know. So you have all these pictures over here. This is the actual video, you know.
Well, that's a spoiler. It's a clip, a trailer. I think I had the full clip on the other interview I did with Texas Frightmare.
Yep.
But I haven't really put it out anywhere else. So, but I mean, look at the art. These guys are there's two guys. David Rodriguez is the first guy, and he's the one that kind of that's him with his son at the bottom. And
right there.
This one. Yep, that's him. So he does like the designing, and him and I in the beginning, we just like talked through the script and talked about the world and like how we saw things. And he was designing tech, and he loves like steampunk and Westerns and sci-fi. And so I was like, we mesh, you know, this was a good fit. And then Jose Martinez is actually a friend of the family. It's my sister's best friends that she's with all the time. And so her best friend's husband is Jose. And I didn't even know he was into comics until I started talking about my freaking comic book, right? And he was just like, you know, I draw, right? I'm like, no. So then we started talking, and then we talked about like the premise and what, you know, what I have planned for it. And he's, you know, really into it as well. So Jose, he's our inker. So what David does is he will conceptualize, he will do all the main drawing and the pencils, and then Jose goes in and he inks everything and does the text. So if you're on the Facebook group, you've seen some of the time lapses that we've posted. That's Jose inking. Okay. It's phenomenal, isn't it? I love
it's just
wonderful.
You know, I'm gonna divulge some more stuff here because I'd love watching these things and some of the things that you shared with me here. This right here, I mean, let me see if I can
page 3.
Let me get this bigger so people can see.
Yeah. So our main character, Jude St. Clair, he's when you meet him, we're 10 years into the apocalypse. He's a cowboy, you know, and it's just him and his horse, and all of his belongings for the entire world are with him. So he carries his world with him, and he's walking through, you know, you can see like the infrastructure is dilapidated. Everything is falling apart. Earth is kind of reclaiming, you know, it's turning back into the wild. So, you know, and in this world, it's not just people that are animated while they're dead. It's everything, animals, bacteria, plants, insects. So we have all the issues that go with overpopulation. So here's page 1. So here we get, you know, panel up at the left corner where he's just a cowboy, you know, riding his horse into the sunset. And you start to see some of this topography where it's a road, it's a bluff. He can't go up, he can't go down. You know, stops the horse just to kind of look at, you know, his surroundings and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's going somewhere, but where is he going?
This is just amazing.
Yeah, they're both phenomenal artists. And now I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts. Okay, I know how to draw and paint, and actually my concentration is in metals, where fabrication and jewelry. I cannot do this. So when I came up with this script, and I started kind of letting people read it, I didn't know what I was going to do with it at first. Like I shared it with one of the guys that was from the production company. He was like, we need to pitch it to Netflix. And I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not
do so. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not ready for that, because here's what's going to happen. Hollywood's going to take it from me. I'm a brand new writer. So this is, of course, I don't know this. I'm just talking hypothetically. These are my fears. This is why I didn't do that. So I'm afraid that they're going to see my script, see its potential, write me a check that they think would make me happy, right?
Sure. Right.
And then they're going to bring in 3 different writers. They're going to change my characters. They're going to hit all the points that they want to make something a blockbuster, right? And then they're going to make a ton of money off of my idea. In my hand, I'm done with, you know what I mean? They wrote me my check, I'm done. So that I wasn't ready to like release my creative control of the idea, because it's so personal to me. So my husband, of course, with our comic books, he loves Kickstarter. He's on there all the time. He finds all these really awesome items and ideas, and we've funded comic books and we've backed all sorts of projects. So he was like, light bulb turned on, ding, ding, take it to Kickstarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comic book. And so that's what we decided to do. And then I've been researching, like, how does Kickstarter work? Like we just went and looked at like all these different other comic books, like what are their funding levels? How many pages are there? What kind of merch are they giving away? What kind of perks, for each backing level? So I can kind of model ours to be successful. And then I had to go find a comic book artist, because I didn't know any. So I went to social media and I joined a couple comic book artist pages. Or group, it's a group of just comic book artists, and just started talking, listening, to their talk about their business and learning. And then eventually I grew a pair and asked if anybody wanted to be part of my project. And that's how I met David. There was about 8 or 9 people that had sent me their portfolios. But I mean, David's work speaks for itself. And then he was already working on a Western apocalypse theme of his own. And like some of the characters that he had drawn fit a lot of the characters that I had in my story. And I was just like, this just feels right, And
well,
then
let me share some of David's
yes, please
work
share
here.
his art. It's fabulous.
So David Rodriguez has been drawing for 25 years and also works in 3D mediums, including wood, leather, foam, and light plastics. He has studied both traditional and modern color theory, as well as human and animal anatomy, environmental concept, art, creature creation, mechanical engineering. David enjoys steampunk, old westerns, fantasy, sci-fi. He has worked on several Kickstarters and art collaboration projects. Here's one of his drawings. It's phenomenal.
See?
Oh,
I mean,
this
is the kind of stuff he's sending me, and I'm like, okay.
Look at this right here. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He's very much of a painter, very painterly, loves to use color, just really expressive, is able to communicate. Look at that, with like the
awesome
dust
right
and the sunbeams and
wow,
metallic, the light on the metal. It's just really amazing.
Yeah. And then you have Jose Martinez.
Correct. So you could read his bio if you would like, but I mean, he does a lot more comic. I mean, look at the inking on this one. Look at the lines. I mean, the shading.
Look at this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Look at that Yoda. Look at the background.
That Yoda is my favorite. I love that one. Yeah.
That Pennywise, he does a lot of horror inspired art. Like he does like Friday the 13th and Leatherface. And I mean, he'll do the whole month of October, he'll do a different one every day. So, but you can kind of see the strengths of these 2 artists. Where like David with the concept art and the color work, and then Jose with the line work and the inking. So I'm taking the best features of both the guys, and I'm benefiting from them.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. So I'm just keep talking. I'm gonna play a clip here, all right? And you just do you say whatever you want, and because this is for me is very interesting, and
Yes.
I'll just play this. All right, this is your inking
Yeah.
process, right, for part 1, and just look at this.
Right. So this is, I love these because it's just very calm, chill out music, and you can just watch it go together, and it becomes something, more final and beautiful. And I actually started a TikTok account for Path of the Pale Rider, and I'm putting videos like this on there of when the guys have time lapse. It's like it's fun because with Kickstarter, it's like you have to use social media to be your advertisement. And I didn't know anything about TikTok. I mean, like, I had been on Instagram, but I'm not on there a lot. Like, Facebook is kind of where I drop most of the meaty good stuff. It was like, if you really want to know what's going on in the comic book, it's in the group where I spill all the beans. But I'm trying to learn other social media just so that way we can catch everybody that wants to be involved. There's a big audience out there. Not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody's on Instagram. People love TikTok.
Right.
So I was like, what do we put on there? It's a 2D medium. So this is one of the things.
I could sit here and watch this. In fact, I've watched it several times, and to me, this is just fascinating. The detail, and how they put it together is just
I mean, this is hours of work for them.
Yes.
Hours. And one of the biggest challenges of the three of us trying to get something off the ground. I have a family, I have a job, both those guys have families and full-time jobs. This is what we're doing in the time in between family, job, transit, pandemic.
That's a lot of work.
Coronavirus. Oh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I mean, not only is this commitment and time, but this is just pure talent. I mean, this is what we're talking about, setting your soul on fire. You got to feel this inside in order to be able to let this come out and put it on paper. I mean, this is the detail on this is just phenomenal.
Yeah, they're both very passionate, artists, and that's why they're involved, is because and I can see that, I can read them, you know what I mean? Like, my energy is mirrored back when we talk about the script and we talk about the story and where does it go. And it's like, we're trying to get you look at it like as a whole, and I love movies, and I love like a lot of series where there's twist endings and there's catches, and then, like, when you go back and you watch it a second time, you're like, wait a minute, that's that person. Right. So we're doing that with the comic book, where it's like, as I'm writing, I'm like, you know what, we need to go talk about this character because it's important we develop that before you actually see them, for reasons. I don't want to spoil anything, but we're really thinking hard about the story and making sure there's Easter eggs, there's hints in everything, and if you look at how we position things, or how Jude talks to his horse Prince, you'll understand the relationships that are there. You'll understand who these characters are because we put it in the art. And these guys are so wonderful at looking, reading something that's not, it's not a picture. It's words on a piece of paper, and being able to put that emotion and those feelings on the page so that we can communicate without them reading the script. I
can see a lot of the storyline by this right here.
Yeah, what the world is.
I mean, my imagination is like going wild, looking at this page here, where he's going, and just to me is, don't tell me everything.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to say, like, poor Jude St. Clair, the stuff that I put him through. Poor Jude St. Clair. But I mean, what you got to do. I mean, that's the story. It's like you have to see it from Jude's point of view, but we do some really gnarly things to him.
Right,
right.
No, because no, I'm just very intrigued. I can't wait, but I myself, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to try and get, sneak peeks and that, because I won't enjoy it. I won't enjoy it. I want to enjoy the moment. Then that's important to me. It's like, yeah, I don't want to cheat to try and, get the information. It's not worth it to me. I want to really like get exactly what you're trying to get exactly what you're trying to tell us, and how you're like driving us, our emotions, what we're seeing, and at the right time we're seeing it, and I love that part about, producers and directors and cartoonists. I love seeing that flow, so and it kind of mirrors my teaching method for Kali, is that I'm not going to showcase what's going to happen here. I walk you through piece by piece, and then at the end puts it together, and that's when the light bulb comes on. That's why you showed us this move here, because we used it.
Right. That's why my footwork matters, because it's always the footwork, and it's like, ding, light bulb is on. This is why I need my feet.
right. No, I mean, I cannot wait. This is a great project, guys. Look, you have a Facebook group, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have that website. You've got everything you need to like really dive into this. Kickstart support. And if you want, hit up Laurie, and she'll give you all the details. And I'm telling you, it's an exciting project. I'm a geek when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm sure there's a bunch of you guys out there that are geeks just like us.
I know.
Yeah, no. So hit her up.
Movies. But we didn't even talk about the cool part about it. The cool part about the comic book is it's not just a comic book, because remember how I said Easter eggs? There's going to be stuff that you can interact with in the real world, like web pages, possible phone numbers, scavenger hunts. We're releasing a video with every single issue that goes to Kickstarter, and some of them are going to be interactive. So part of the story is Jude trying to figure out what happened, right? Why does the death process not work anymore? What happened? So, if this happened in the real world, there would be conspiracy theories up the wazoo. People are all trying to figure out what happened. They all think this is what's, happening, right? So for issue number 2, I'm going to open up our video for submissions from anybody, everybody, right? Where you can make your own conspiracy theory video, and then I can splice them all together, edit them, and make it into one cohesive video. And then we can all enjoy, all the wacky conspiracy theories that, people would think would cause this. So is it religion? Is it chemical? Is it aliens? What is it?
That's cool. That's super cool.
Right. That's
super cool.
One of the clips that you saw, we made a video for this first issue where we were kind of exploring, and the reason why I want to do these, it's kind of exploring the world outside of Jude's point of view. So the comic book, you have to stick to the character, right? So we follow Jude, we see Jude, how he's moving through the world, but there's all this stuff that's in the world that you are not seeing because Jude's not there. So we're building these videos. We're going to do I have a whole series set up. Short videos. We did a riot scene. I had a drone, flying over the riot. So we're kind of exploring the idea of what the retirement community is. So there's retirement communities for the undead to go to, where they can kind of live separately from the living, because as they decompose, they start to go crazy, right? So they start to segregate the living and the dead in the story. So there's these commercials for these undead communities. They're like chipper and happy and look at us and come live here and we're waiting for you, blah, blah. And then interspliced with that is what the real world looks like, where there's riots and there's unrest and violence in the streets because people can't cope with what's going on,
Well,
it's just,
let's take
oh,
a
do you
little
have it?
clip. I mean, let's look at a
Oh,
little
you can
clip
look at the
here.
little, yeah, that's just a snippet. Will it
Yeah,
work?
so this is a little clip of it, right?
Right.
Here's the community, right? Retirement community. Then
It's kind
you
of like,
have,
I allude to like the static is just kind of showing like something's in the background. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Something's not right. It gives you that kind of feeling of dread. And then here's our rioters. That's my husband, the actor.
there's Mrs. Calcaterra. I mean, Mr.
Mr.
Sorry.
Calcaterra. That's us right there with my daughter Delilah. Both my girls made a cameo in there. So it just kind of shows,
cool.
that's it. It's just a few seconds. But I mean, like we did a whole thing where you know, with the riot and then with some violence happening. And
yeah.
so I have the video for the Kickstarter, but then I think I'm going to do a stretch goal. So if we meet our goal and like we meet like, I don't know, another $1,000, something like that. I'm just throwing out round numbers. I'll do another video of the whole riot scene because we have all this footage and I just used a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So then
I
I
saw
can
the interview that you did, and I saw quite a bit
Yeah.
of video there as well. So
Yeah.
very cool. Very cool.
So it's just something that we can explore more of the world. We've talked about a journal that Jude keeps. So we can actually make this journal. So you can see Jude's path. I like the idea of hiding Easter eggs in the comic book too, where we may print in blacklight ink. So you'll have to use like a black light and there'll be secret messages in the comic book that will send you down a rabbit hole to somewhere, you know, it might give you a web page or it might give you a hint. And when you Google that hint, it takes you to a place. So there's just a lot that we plan on doing with this. And I'm really excited to get creative and unleash it to the world.
I love it. I love it. I mean, these are some awesome stuff we're looking at here. You know,
Thank you.
So earlier we had talked about catfishing, and I'm gonna kind of going back, right? Yeah. You want to watch it?
Sure.
All right, let's watch it. I love this video.
I have some funny things to say.
One of the first videos that I saw that you created. You know?
Yeah, I think this is what led to us actually talking on Facebook.
Yep. Here it is.
Because I was promoting catfishing, and it showed up on your radar, and
yeah, and I was like intrigued. I was like, this is pretty good. Is there like a 2-hour movie? I want to see it. You know,
dude, this took like 16 hours of filming to get 6 minutes of action.
I know.
And like Taki was making me crack up around the corner just then, so I had to like try and put on a straight face when he walked around the corner. Acting.
I mean, this is pretty cool. These 6 minutes of just, that's a lot of hard work. I know what it, you know, it's like to put a fight scene together. And
but you know what? It's interesting. It served its function. This actually got me in front of an agent who represents stunt actors. And I was able to have a conversation about what it would take if I wanted to do stunts. You know, other skills that I would need to develop. Because obviously I know how to fight. So she was like, you need to work on falls and like parkour type gymnastics. But then the other part of it is you have to, if you want to be a successful stunt actor, you pretty much have to live in LA. So she was like, can you move to LA? I was like, I just moved to Texas. She's like, that's a no then? I'm like, well, it's a no for right now.
Now, how many times did you guys take that where Taki threw that knife up in the air and he caught it?
Seriously. It actually wasn't as many as you think because he'd been practicing that move. I think it was like 6 takes.
I can't do that for the life of me. You throw something in the air, I just watch it drop.
Yeah. And like this part where I spit in his face, I could not keep a straight face to save my life. I just couldn't. He was like, spit in my face. And I'm like, I can't do that. And he was like, just do it. And I was like, oh my God, Taki, that's so gross. And then I would spit, and then I just couldn't keep a straight face.
Well, it turned out pretty
now
good.
I'm mad. Ooh.
Yeah. Uh-oh, now she's got a knife.
Do a little bit of work
your
there.
little Bali song there.
That's
yeah,
right.
There you go.
Come on, let's fight.
I like it.
Like, no matter how many times I tried to say, let's go, I just couldn't sound tough. I was like, oh God. And like this.
Nice move there.
I actually kicked him in the head in that take. I remember that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got kicked in the face. I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, it happens in training. It'll happen.
Yeah. And every time I jumped and I did the knife, he was like, that is so scary. Please don't do that. You know, and it's hard to capture some of the nuances of the fights. I mean, you're not seeing all the 100% of what we're doing, especially the fight with Taki and Fred. They were doing some really cool, like when he runs up this wall and then turns and kicks.
Yeah, no, that was phenomenal.
Fred taking his jacket off in the fight. I mean, like, I love that part. So here, like this, that was so amazing. And we just couldn't capture it on film. So I mean, we learned a lot about not only choreographing, but like filming. And of course, Coattail Collective is the one that filmed this. So way better than any of us could do, you know, amazing job.
I would love to see the video of them filming this video, you know, like the secondary video behind, you know.
Yeah, they did some behind the scenes.
Yep.
So this was the part where the Taki forgot his jacket, you know, like had a jacket on.
Oh yeah.
Supposed to, or something like that, where we had to reshoot it. It's like, dang it, but it happens. And that that is my favorite part.
That gets me every time. That gets me every time.
You know, and the way that we filmed it, you do it in reverse. So he started out on top of the car, and then you hit the gas going in reverse. And he stands up. So that's how you do that. And then with some special effects, you know, they make it go through the scene. So
yeah. Is that real blood or is that ketchup?
Oh, that's that's FX blood, which, by the way, it stains. So I had like a blood mustache for like you know, a couple days. Like, didn't mind it so much on the arm, but like on the nose, I was like, oh, good. So the whole idea behind this was like, it's a sting mission, right? So I'm bait.
Yep.
And then Fred was kind of my backup if I couldn't handle it, you know, taking down the perp or whoever it was, that he would come rescue me. And then Fred liked Taki. We were fighting him for long enough where he was like, this is an interview. And then, you know, so we brought him on and we were going after another person.
Yeah,
so.
No, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So
you do a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, geez. From producing to stunts to
comics. I mean,
comics book. So, I mean, you do a lot of stuff. You know, I want to share one more.
Okay.
I mean,
what you got?
Whenever I do like these background stuff, you know, I love
like, what'd you find?
You know, finding stuff. You know. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, this was the one. This was right before I started teaching at the school. So this is kind of like my little announcement. So that's Coach Marco Aguilera. He's the head of that school. He's the black belt BJJ instructor. And him and his wife run the school. And I had contacted them. They had a parkour program for kids. So Katie, my daughter, was in the parkour program.
I see.
And now she's in their kids BJJ program. And they're good people too. I mean, they're just so they're like family. I mean, their school is so great. They're really supportive. They have great students. We share students. So you know.
I love that move. That stick.
I love
grappling
that
move.
the choke.
Yep.
I'm like, he didn't have to fake that grimace.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just did a little demo, and then I was like talking through a technique and showing how I love trapping feet. That's one of the things I love to do. It just messes people up.
You got to do a Zoom session with us.
What about trapping feet?
That and a few of your stick moves and your knife moves, whatever
I love that one too.
No, I mean, I'm telling you, you know, social media and YouTube, you can find a lot about people, you know, and you do so many things. So there's so many things to find about you. So guys, look, she's on Facebook, she's on Instagram, she's on YouTube, and she's got her own website for a Path of Pale Rider. You guys, she's easy to find. All right, you guys are intrigued, reach out to her. You know, and she's even offered that if you're good enough, you could be part of her production crew. You know, so why not, guys? Come on, you could be a superstar. Come on.
You know, we could even draw you into the comic book. That's one of the things on our backing levels. We have a backing level where like David will actually draw you into one of our issues. So that's super cool. I know. I was like,
that's
David, will
awesome.
you draw me into an issue? He's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? I'm like, okay, I just thought I would ask. He's like, which one do you want to be? I'm like, I want to be this character who immediately dies. And he was like, what? It would be hilarious to be like, look, there's Laurie. Oh, she's dead.
Oh, she's dead. She's done. So, oh my God.
But it's just cool. We can immortalize you into a comic book. I think that's super awesome. I'm looking forward to my issue. But
what other talents do you have there, Guro Laurie?
Oh, I love to cook. I love to cook. You know, we've shared recipes before.
Absolutely.
I love cooking.
I've tried your recipes. Those recipes are the bomb. They're awesome.
The mashed potatoes, I tell you. Cracked potatoes.
I haven't told you, but I practically make those every month.
Don't make them too often, then you put on like 10 pounds.
Well, you know, I try to stay active, but sometimes, boy, you know, snowy days, I just stay inside and I veg and I do coffee with Chief, but that's just not enough energy, you know?
I know. Trust me, I know it. I know it. I'm doing the same thing. I work at home. We live at home, and I'm like, if it's cold out, we don't go outside. It's hard. It's like, but the good news is this is Texas. So in March, we can start going outside. You know, the pool's open in April, so.
Oh my God, no. I was about to say that. You know, the good thing is Texas, you can actually go outside, you know, and
like January and February are the 2 months that are cold. And I mean, like, I've only been in Texas for like a year, so I'm not like, you know, Texas is, I know everything about Texas. I mean, like for the last year we've been here, it's cold in January and February. We got snow once, and then it melted the same day. So
I mean, you do martial arts, you do video productions, choreographed fights, you do the stunts, you're doing a comic book, you're doing storylines, you're doing you cook, you're a mom, you know, you're a wife, you're you know, I mean, what else do you do? Do you sing?
I am musical,
Do you? Do you play an instrument? Do you actually sing?
I can sing. I'm not, you know, I don't claim to be a singer, but I can sing. But I play the cello. I have an electric cello. Oh my God, it's so cool. I learned how to play like Metallica songs on my cello.
That's cool. You're gonna have to send us a clip of that. That's really cool.
And then I can play a little piano. I dabble in the piano, but I've played cello since I was 9. So I need to get it out. It's been in the case for a while.
Do you have any clips of you singing?
I don't think so. No, just karaoke. No, we're not going to do that. No. This is, when you play, when Rock Band used to be a thing. We play Rock Band with the friends, and they were like, "Give the mic to Lori. Lori will sing, and she'll get the perfect score." So it was kind of like that. I'm like, I can't sing. My whole family are musicians. And like I said, I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts where fine art is my major, music is my minor. So I played in orchestras and string quartets all through college. I really enjoy it. My mom is a music minister at Our Lady of Sorrows Church in Michigan. So she's musical. All of her siblings, and she has 9 of them, they're all musical. Wow. My dad plays the guitar and sings. My sister's a musician. My brother's a musician. It's part of our genes. We do that. So
you have a lot of talent in your family. That's awesome.
But I love music with martial arts. We can wrap it in there.
And that's why we get along, because
you're like hitting, you can do like on beat, off beat.
Yes.
You can play different music when you're training, and it actually will help you change mindset. Like if you're more aggressive or more fluid, stuff like that. We used to run experiments. I used to train with Christina Percoli. I hope she watches this. I love you, Christina. But we used to do this experiment where we had like, I don't know, maybe 6 people, and we all had headphones in. And we were all listening to our own soundtrack, and we would just spar in a group. You just interact with someone and then you move to the next one. But it was just really interesting how people would move differently depending on what they're listening to.
Absolutely. When I train, I Jedi mind trick these guys into a state of mind by playing different music, and some of them kind of look at me because I play classical music really loud while we're doing like let's say the Heaven 6 or Sinawali drill. They're like, "Why are you playing classical music?" I said, I want you to be able to focus not only just the music, but what you're doing, and mesh the rhythm together and see what you come out with, and it makes you concentrate, because it's not your music of choice, so it makes you concentrate. So I do a lot of experiments on the guys I train with, but music and martial arts, to me, there's a connection there.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's it. There's a connection there, and I like to explore it as much as I can. And Filipino martial arts is big into the Congo and the bongo, and and music. In fact, I've trained in some places. Well, Guru Dan in Enosano Academy, he gets up there, plays the bongo, and you're doing all the drills. You watch him, and he's playing the bongo, and the band is there playing, and you're doing your drills and stuff like that. To me, it's like fascinating. I love that
live music. That it's like they're giving you energy. You know what I mean? You're absorbing the sound waves, and you're able to put that into your movement. So it's like you're interacting with the person that's creating the sound, and you're interpreting their sound waves as movement in martial arts. We could talk for ages. I mean, like, I love this stuff. So
now, so let me kind of put it all together. All right.
Okay.
One question for you. It's not really a question, but it's so during your warrior journey, or let's just say during your journey, what advice can you or would you give to these guys that are listening about their own journey, and not specific to martial arts or any other thing like music or cartoons? And what is your advice to these guys going through their warrior journey? What would you give them?
I would say be open for the lesson, because it doesn't matter if it's martial arts or if it's music or if it's interacting with people. There's a lesson in everything we do every day. And I know it sounds kind of hokey, but you can take your lessons from martial arts and apply them towards your attitude at work. You can take your musical talents and apply them to martial arts. Everything is kind of interchangeable, and you just have to be open to receive the lesson.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. I always say that it is not techniques we're learning. It is the culture, tradition, and the way of life in what we're learning that's important. So And I always tell people, because I don't have a main school, I don't have a actual building structure. I have a
Right.
dojo. I don't have that. And frankly, all of my training partners, I don't necessarily have students, right? I don't try not to label them as students because we train together. All of my training partners are not just someone that gives me money and say, I want to train with you. No, it's people that I know, people that I see have good hearts and have good intentions. And that's who I'm drawn to, the people that see the lesson, like you said,
Yes.
and are willing and able to receive that lesson in an appropriate way. So
Yeah.
that is one of the coolest philosophy and advice I've heard in a while.
Be open. Be open.
Absolutely.
And it's with all walks of life. And I mean, like, martial arts to me, I mean, that's what teaches me so much, about myself, about other people, how you interact, how you receive energy, positive, negative, destructive. How do I channel all that through Laurie, and how do I react to it? Do I let my ego get in the way? Do I let my gender get in the way? Do I let my physical body get in the way? There's so many ways that we can hold ourselves back, from receiving whatever the lesson is, because of being human, I guess. But if you can put all that away and just be a student and be open, you can learn a lot about the world, yourself, your teacher. I mean, I love training with people because I can see who their teacher is. You know what I mean? I can see their movement. And like, a lot of times with martial artists, we make sounds, like ta, tick, da, when we're moving. Yeah. And that a lot of that comes from what our teachers sounded like when they're teaching us, so it's not even just the movement. You can see the lineage of someone's art, and you can see who their teacher is by how they're expressing. And it's so interesting to me. It's an oral history. It's a physical history of the art. It's just, I love it. And it's like, it's physical, it's mental. You play chess, you try to think 3 moves ahead of your opponent, and it's so, there's that aspect of it. And then there's the spiritual, the energy. There's so much in martial arts, and that's why I have to do it. I have
to. I love it. One of my brothers in martial arts went up to one of my training partners and said, hey, you move just like Tuhan Jesse. And the guy's like, and the guy just smiled and he's like, thank you, Tuhan. I appreciate it. I try to emulate him as much as I can. And I appreciate you telling me that, because that's all I want to do is emulate my teacher, my training partner. And so that was a great compliment. And you're absolutely right. We do see our teachers within ourselves and other students and so forth. So look, Guro Laurie, like you said, we could sit here and talk all day.
I'm sure we'll talk more about this.
Yeah. But there is a snowstorm coming, and I got to get the snow blower ready.
Texas.
Guys, this has been exciting. I want to personally thank Guro Laurie, a martial artist, a very wonderful person. I can tell that her soul is on fire in all things that she do. She's a true warrior based on what we just learned about her today. Thank you so much, Guro Laurie. I truly appreciate it for coming and talking and speaking with us and dropping some wisdom and knowledge for us to carry on into our daily activities in life. But so again, guys, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to, Coffee with Chief, please do so. Always have a cup of coffee, right? And now, if you haven't seen, we have a coin. So hit me up. It's a great coin. There's so many different uses, and I'll go over all those. But again, thank you again. This is Combat Coffee with Chief out.